Yeah, hello. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hi, Ganesh. Don't call me sir.
Okay, I can call you Vimoh, right?
Yes, yes. Just call me Vimoh.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for letting me in, and have watched some of your episodes, and I really like these rational thoughts coming to Indian sphere, like Pranav and you, sir. But the problem is, uh, first I have two questions, sir. The first question is,
Mhm.
why do we have to even think about God? We are not thinking about Shah Rukh Khan in Neptune doing backflips, right? We are not thinking about that. We are not believing about that. Why we have to first think about God? The only the rationale I have found is, we for our insecurities, we try to believe in God, for a savior, for this kind of things. So when the man believes in himself,
Mhm.
then God will come out of the picture. And the other thing is, problem with materialism, sir. Even a scientific method slash material. This is my second question. We have this rigid idea, like a materialist can't think there is something like, consciousness can give rise to materialism, or materialism, they only think the other way around. Like, the neurons can give the firing of the neurons at random times can give consciousness, but consciousness won't affect the material things. So if we fall into that rigid model, we can't be open to do new thought experiments or new experiments. Our scientific progress will be hindered by the scientific method which we are following, this materialistic mindset. I think we have to be open to that. By our We rationalists have to open about that thing. We can't just
Ganesh,
be
can I
yeah,
can I just pause you for a second and just ask you,
yeah.
just so I can be sure that I understood you clearly. You're saying that the materialistic worldview says that consciousness is the result of neurons firing.
Random firing, yeah.
No, it's not random. Nobody says that neurons are firing randomly.
So, random in the sense, sir, there is no a particular area in the brain that is responsible for consciousness. The first thing
We
is that,
don't. Yeah, so that is clear. But I'm
yeah.
saying, why would you say that we won't be able to do experiments if we don't stop thinking in material terms?
Sir, we will be, restricted by that ideology, that materialistic ideology.
No,
uh,
but then what other if you're saying that the material, like, I wouldn't use the word ideology, but I'll just use it because you're using it. If material ideology is not sufficient to explain consciousness, then what is?
Nothing. We have to be open about it. That's what I'm saying. We don't want to be
You're saying you're
we
saying
don't want, yeah, we don't have to believe in idealism and all these kind of things. My point is, we just have to be open to anything, open to any idea. So if we are bound in this materialistic, materialistic domains, the scientist or scientist can do, if scientists are in such a mindset where they have that rigid mindset, our scientific
I
progress will
don't
be,
think
yeah.
I think this rigid mindset thing
Hmm.
is mostly false, and it is promoted by people who have religious access to grind, because it is far more likely that if you give a scientist evidence to follow, they will follow it. Nobody is going to say, oh, there is evidence, but I'm not going to follow it because I'm committed to materialism. The same can, however, be said about religious people. Even if you give them evidence to the contrary of what they believe in, they will refuse to go in it. There are examples of creationists who have said that no evidence can convince me that God does not exist, that the Bible
Hmm.
is not true, or my religious book is not true. That close minded thing is actually a false thing that is said about scientists by religious people. So we should not be too quick to jump to that conclusion. Secondly, the
Hmm.
point is to follow evidence, right? If there is
Hmm.
evidence, we should follow it. But if there isn't evidence, simply saying that we should be open to possibilities is neither here nor there. What do I do with it?
Sir, actually, sir, I am doing PhD, sir, from a university, uh,
On what?
uh, psychology.
Okay.
So our department comes under science, science block. So
Yeah.
I used to talk with people from physics, biotech, and all these kind. They are all extreme materialists, or some they can decide for themselves. So those who are the materialists, they are bound in that ideology only. They can't even
Do you,
take.
so when you talk to them, do they
Hmm.
say we are materialists, or is that a label you are applying to them?
They say they don't believe in God, and we are just we believe in materialism. So they won't
They say that they believe in materialism. That's their actual
no,
words.
not believe. They are materialists. So
Yeah. So that materialist in that respect simply means that they probably, I can't speak for them obviously, but for me, as far as materialism is concerned, I think that the universe is primarily material, and that any explanations for any phenomenon have to be rooted in matter, because we are made of matter, and that every single scientific process that we observe in reality is associated with matter or emerges from matter. That's all. It's not an ideology. It's not a. It's a position that we reach after, you know, looking at reality. That's, it's as simple as that. In order to believe in God, there would need to be evidence for supporting God, right? So I
mm-mm.
would suggest, like, I think what is happening with you is that you're getting too hung up on the word materialist, and and you started thinking of materialism as an ideology, and you're also saying things that religious people usually say, like they say scientists are close minded, etc. Don't fall for this shit. It's an age old propaganda tactic. Don't fall for it. Whenever you're talking to people, make evidence the foundation of your arguments. Whatever you want to think, whatever you want to believe, whatever you want to spread, is there evidence for it? That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, sir. I'm not, religious. I can understand what you're talking about. I'm not that religious, open-minded fellow. But I actually believe in rational and evidence and all these things. But
Hmm.
I feel we have to be open, sir. Open in the
Open
sense,
to what? Open to
open to
what?
possibilities.
No,
If you,
open
yeah,
to evidence, yes. Open to
yeah,
any
yeah, open to
possibility.
evidence. Yeah.
Because let me say this.
Mm.
If I said that consciousness is a result of tiny little fairy creatures who exist inside our brains, would you be open to it?
No,
Why?
because but you have to make a logical argument regarding that thing.
No,
Then
you
only
need
I
to have
can.
evidence for it. Logical argument is secondary.
No,
There needs to
you are.
be evidence for that fairy creature, right? You need to be
Yeah.
able to see it or detect it or measure it in some way.
No, no, sir. For the evidence, we have to, first we have to make it a model, theory, or proposition. Then we
Yeah.
can come to evidence. But the problem with the materialist, what I am talking about, these, they are rigid, so that they don't even make those models or hypotheses and work towards.
No, no, no.
Uh,
I don't think
yeah.
that is true. I do not think that is true. You cannot create models in thin air and expect them to be treated as valid if there is no evidence supporting it. I have had this conversation with someone in the previous atheism hour also. But if I said that there were little fairy creatures inside our brain, even before you make a model, you can simply try to find them, right? Observe them through instrumentation. Open a brain and see if there are fairy creatures inside. If there are no fairy creatures, then
Mm,
you don't need to make a model, right?
yeah.
So evidence should be the foundation of it. It should not be like, if you look, by the way, I don't think you have ever found such a person. But if you find a person who says, I am a materialist, I believe everything must be material, and therefore I will not even look at any other evidence, that person is clearly wrong. But
Yeah, that's what.
I think you have not met such a person. You're mostly imagining it. If someone refuses to take a look at evidence, then there is a problem. If someone is simply rejecting models that don't have any evidence to, you know, as a foundation, then there is nothing wrong with you. You can, models are models, man. I can make a model. You can make a model. I can sit down and write a 15-second science fiction story about the creation of the universe, and it can be completely logically consistent. That doesn't mean it is true.
No, no,
Models are
it can be logically consistent, but according to you, but the people in the scientific community has to agree upon that, and you can do models, but the
I
model
can
should
make
be,
a model. I can make a
yeah.
model and say that the Big Bang was caused by a cosmic hippopotamus with
Hmm,
bat-like wings that exists
hmm.
beyond time and space.
Okay, okay.
Is there any way to disprove it?
No,
Right?
the thing is, yeah, yes, sir. It's your a thing which can be disproved, can't be, probably correct. Unfalsifiability we are communicating.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So an unfalsifiable claim is an unfalsifiable claim, and there is no need to take it seriously.
yep,
But anyway, Ganesh, I'm
yeah,
actually running quite late. It's 1 hour
yeah,
45 minutes.
yeah.
Thank you
Yes,
for
yes.
joining, and
Thank
I
you, sir.
will please do come back sometime and we can talk more. Cool.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir.
Chalo.
Thank you.
Bye.